Lipstick on a pig. Tonight, the F&M not holding back, calling the Davis administration's energy plan a PR stunt and a raw deal for Bahamians. Why they say it's a short-term win for a select few. But first, rumors of a top cop's robbery confirmed, and police say it happened in seconds. Off-duty and out of uniform, the deputy commissioner among several people held up at a local bank. And after weeks of thick smoke and tense moments, there's some relief in Abaco. The island's administrator says wildfire conditions have improved. Then in our news at 7:30, a ministerial clapback gets real. Why the National Security Minister is calling his predecessor petty, bitter, and dripping with resentment. Our News, live at 7, starts right now. Welcome to Our News, live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. Latin America and the Caribbean could be the world's slowest growing region over the next 2 years, according to a new World Bank report, with growth projected at just 2.1% in 2025 and 2.4% in 2026. The bank says high debt, low investment, and global uncertainty all weighing heavily on the region. The news comes on the heels of a bright spot for the Bahamas after the International Monetary Fund recently upgraded the country's 2025 growth forecast from 1.7% to 1.8%. At the time, Prime Minister Philip Davis called it a sign of international confidence in the government's tough economic strategy. We'll have more on the World Bank's latest report and implications for the region coming up in our World News segment. But we go now to this next developing story. The Royal Bahamas Police Force confirmed rumors that Deputy Commissioner Anthony Roll, one of several people robbed at a financial institution on John F. Kennedy Drive on Tuesday. Police say Roll was off duty at the time and was dressed in civilian clothing. The assailants unaware of who he was. The Deputy Commissioner was able to use his training to de-escalate the situation with no one being harmed in the incident. Authorities say they are actively investigating. Meanwhile, a Supreme Court judge has set bail at $30,000 for a man accused of beating his cellmate to death in 2019. Tyrone Butler is charged with manslaughter in the November 18, 2019 death of Deanza Knowles. Butler was serving time for drug possession when he allegedly killed Knowles. And now to Abaco in the north, where after weeks of relentless wildfires, the situation there is said to be improving. Last week, wildfires raged, putting residents on edge as thick smoke clouded the SC Boodle Highway, making it nearly impossible for motorists to see. Island Administrator Stephen Wilson says things are mostly under control.
I just let us do whatever we can to contain it. At the moment, it is contained. But like I said, these fires, from time to time, they springs up, deep in the bushes, and then it moves its way, it moves closer to the road at times.
When we visited the island a few weeks ago, the damage was evident along the main highway close to several residential areas. While the blaze has been mostly extinguished, smoke continues to be an issue.
We do have a situation in the nighttime, as I've stated earlier, from between Churchill International Airport to Blackwood, and then another area would be from Cooperstown north going into Cedar Harbor. We have the smoke emanating from the fires, shuttles in the road at night, in the thick at night.
All right, putting lipstick on a pig. That's how Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands is describing the Davis administration's energy policy announced in Parliament on Wednesday. The F&M says policy is nothing more than a polished public relations piece. F&M leader Michael Pintard says the report admits that costs will rise in the medium term, yet government refuses to say how much this privatization and asset giveaway will actually add to consumer bills. Dr. Sands says the deal immediately benefits a select group.
It is absolutely, putting lipstick on a pig. Here we go again, all right? So you cut a deal with a couple of selected persons to make generational wealth, right? On the backs of struggling Bahamians. The only recent easement that Bahamians have gotten has been due to the fluctuation of the price of oil and the fact that it was wintertime. Not a doggone thing to do with the policies of this administration.
And Dr. Sands' party is calling for the deals to be tabled in Parliament. He says the reality is Bahamians will not feel the benefit anytime soon.
Some people could be dead by the time as the benefit that accrues to the Bahamian public is felt. But you know, those people that got this sweet $1.2 billion deal, they get to enjoy their money now.
All right, gambling addiction. It's often cloaked in shame and silence, but it continues to wreck lives. One senior nurse, she's speaking out, sharing her own story of struggle and triumph with our Delvado Emmanuel.
For the past 16 years, I've been free from gambling addiction. I was suffering from the addiction for 12 years plus. And that was a big challenge in my life.
For more than 4 decades, Paula Dane has worn a nurse's uniform, and her career has been expansive, stretching from pediatrics to mental health. Today at the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, she's a senior nursing officer helping others to find freedom from the grip of addiction. But what many don't see is a painful journey that led her here. She describes it as a deeply personal battle that almost cost her everything.
So I started just by buying numbers. Going by Percy, going anywhere, and I was buying numbers, and it's that start to get out of control because I used to start spending $1, then I start spending 10 and then 100, and I was buying numbers in almost every house.
That's when Dane says she got into internet gaming, her vice of choice, spinning.
I get up in the morning, I think about the next dollar just to gamble. When I win big, sometimes I win up to, one time I win $10,000 during that night because I gamble at home also, not just in the thing, I'm on the computer. By morning, I didn't have $1.
In her estimation, Dane says she's lost over $200,000, but more importantly, she's lost precious time with her family. At one point, she lied to her own children after spending the entire vacation fund.
Going to the bank and draw the money off. I think I left with $900. I left $900 on the account. And I went and I gambled, and I lost every cent of that money.
But Paula's story didn't end in defeat. It changed with faith, with family, with one of her pastors who didn't give up on her even when others did. 16 years clean, she is now a certified gambling addiction specialist and an international certified addiction professional, helping others to walk the road she once feared she never escaped.
I said, Lord, I really, really don't want this for my children. I am so disappointed in myself, and I don't never want them to have to go through that again. And I think that was one of the last things that I thought about or that occurred that helped me make that change.
If you or anyone you know may be battling with the silent disease, you can call the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center's 24-hour hotline at 425-2360. Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
Thanks so much for that, Delvado. What a story. If it touched you or inspired you, be sure and head over to ournews.bs to see it again, or you can share it right from the Our News Bahamas Facebook page. We've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Gindin, and a happy Thursday evening, everybody. Another beautiful day around the islands. Temperatures once again getting into the low 80s. Settling down now into the upper 70s, 77 outside our studios with a few clouds, and it is a bit on the breezy side still. East-northeast wind, 17 miles per hour, feels like temperature is at 77. Current temperatures right now across the chain of islands, 78 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Marsh Harbour, Abaco, 75, 78 also in Alistown, Bimini. Great Harbour Key, Governor's Harbour, 76 is there, 77s in Nicholstown, Andros, and here in the capital. Central Bahamas, 77s, Kemps Bay, Black Point, Exumas, also over in Coben Townsend, Salvador, 78 in Arthurstown, Cat Island. Then we pick up a string of 79s, Georgetown, Port Nelson, and in Deadman's Key. Southeast Bahamas, upper 70s there once again, 79 Duncantown, Ragged Island, Delectable Bay, and in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands, 78s, Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, and in Abrahams Bay, Maguana. Matthewtown in Agua, deep south, rounded a temperature profile at 81 degrees. Satellite radars composite, it's pretty much quiet. We do have some Atlantic moisture moving across us. We had a couple of isolated showers earlier here in the capital. This morning, we're likely to see 1 or 2 more of those showers. They're likely to occur late at night or early in the morning, so if you have some plans to put some seeds in the ground, maybe a good time. Some more moisture expected for the end of the week, and things should be clearing up for next week. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, Carifta Swimming returns home on what had to be the noisiest Bahamas Air charter flight from Trinidad ever because they were carrying a lot of hardware. Well, this excludes the carnival flights.
Welcome to Journey TV.
I'm glad the Wally boys have split, because you know what? They don't being any more competition.
The words on the Spelling Bee show in the lad.
Phosphorescent.
Hey, it's the Charlie Bahama Show. Welcome, I'm your boy, Charlie Bahama.
New season of grooving is here. New season of grooving is here. It will have your emotions moving, grooving, and even sometimes scared. Get in the groove with 242 Grooving. Sleepy Lex has taken over the charts, but we got newcomers like Devondre and NF Trey climbing up to reach that #1 spot, while Travis Clark and Chase Fernandez is applying big pressure. Who will be #1 on upcoming shows of Rev Up? Buckle your seatbelt and find out. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Are you ready?
The wait is over. We're back with a new season of 242 The Gospel. Great artists, new videos exploding on the countdown. Will Najia be able to continue to turn the pages at #1, or will someone else rewrite her story? Let's see on this season of 242 The Gospel.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. With their 7th straight title and Carifta Challenge Trophy in tow, Team Bahamas returned to home soil last night. The team was greeted by friends and family, a Junkanoo rush-out, and a message from Prime Minister Philip Davis.
But we need to lift up these young men and women here. To our whole society, to see what good comes out of the Bahamas. Let's see what good comes out of the Bahamas, because many comes good. Now, that was the 7th straight, and I hear you're going for 8. And the next word is, I will wait.
We'll have more details in the 7:30 newscast.
The Grand Bahama contingent of the Carifta track and field team received a hero's welcome of their own when they returned to the nation's second city. Kiesra Thomas was one of the standout athletes from Grand Bahama and returned with 4 silver medals in the under-17 girls division.
In local hoops, the Bahamas Basketball Federation has a busy weekend ahead to determine the best club teams in the country. The National Round Robin gets underway tonight and runs through April 26 at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium.
It's Christian Robinson's second full season at the AA level with the Amarillo Sod Poodles, and thus far he's well on his way to another progression. Through 16 games, Robinson is hitting .246 with 3 home runs, 10 RBI, 2 stolen bases, and a .914 OPS.
That'll do it for Our Sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as high debt, low investment, and global turmoil has the World Bank saying Latin America and the Caribbean may see the slowest growth worldwide over the next 2 years. Plus, U.S. President Donald Trump says he wants clear rules for crypto. We'll tell you the new executive put on the case. And gang attacks in Port-au-Prince leave soldiers and civilians dead. The dire warning from the United Nations when Our News returns.
The words on the Spelling Bee show in the lad.
Phosphorescent.
Bougainvillea.
Never.
Where was the T earlier? You trust me?
No.
Good. No, I'm saying pipeline over here.
Coca-Cola.
Okay, well, some of them.
Hey, Hey, it's the Charlie Bahama Show. Welcome, I'm your boy Charlie Bahama, and we are here at the Wine and Food Festival here at Atlantis. And man, I got a plate full of... Okay, now who took my food? Now who took...
What do you think, Shaggy said? Well, you gotta wait until the new season of the Charlie Bahama Show starts with Shaggy himself. Also episodes with Chef Jose Andres, Bahamian chefs, John Baptiste, and trips to the Family Islands. Charlie Bahama Show, coming April 25th, 8 p.m. on Cable Bahamas, channel 212.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Latin America and the Caribbean could be the world's slowest growing region over the next 2 years, according to a new World Bank report. Growth is forecast at just 2.1% this year and 2.4% in 2026, with high debt, low investment, and global uncertainty dragging the region down. The bank is urging governments to rethink economic strategies, calling for bold reforms to boost jobs, competitiveness, and productivity, especially in trade, education, and infrastructure. Despite some inflation control, the bank says fiscal deficits remain a concern. It says slowing growth in China and global trade tensions aren't helping the outlook. United States President Donald Trump says the crypto industry needs regulatory certainty, and he's tasking incoming Securities Exchange Commission Chairman Paul Atkins with making it happen. Atkins says his top priority will be building a strong foundation for digital assets while keeping politics out of securities laws.
It's time for the SEC to end its waywardness and return to its core mission that Congress set for it: investor protection, fair, orderly, and efficient markets, and capital formation. I will work to protect investors from fraud, keep politics out of how our securities laws and regulations are applied, and advance clear rules of the road that encourage investment in our economy to the benefit of Americans. A top priority of my chairmanship will be to provide a firm regulatory foundation for digital assets through a rational, coherent, and principled approach. We will work to ensure that the United States is the best and most secure place in the world to invest and to do business.
And gang violence in Haiti's capital continues escalating, with at least 4 soldiers and 4 armed civilians killed in recent attacks. Officials say gangs are trying to take full control of Port-au-Prince, targeting some peaceful communities. Graphic videos circulating online show gunmen mutilating victims. Local leaders say the civilians who died were just trying to defend their neighborhoods. Haiti's transitional government has condemned the violence as police and armed residents struggle to hold the line. A Kenyan-led international mission is on the ground, but far short of the 2,500 police officers needed. The United Nations warns that without more support, Haiti could soon reach a point of no return. All right, with trade wars and rising inflation, one local organization making it easier for locals to produce healthy food. In this week's edition of Sustainability First, Bertini McDermott tells us how the Juana Luthra Foundation is making an impact.
Bahamas First, putting sustainability first for our people and our environment. What's first for you and the planet comes first for us.
As Bahamians grapple with rising food costs, the Juana Luthra Foundation has made it easier and more affordable for Lutherans to eat healthy, according to President and CEO Kieran Smith. But that's not all. The One Luther Foundation's food security program is also training the next generation of farmers in alternative methods of growing crops. So far, the project is having its impact on the local community.
So we're providing fresh greens to about 30 stores, restaurants, local food stores here on the island. And it's been very receptive. We have people driving from all over the island just to come here and get fresh greens. And we also deliver to Harbor Island, to some of the hotels like Valentine's, Dunmore, etc. Those are some of the impacts that you're seeing that's coming as a result of this farm.
The project was birthed during the COVID-19 pandemic as prices started to surge. Smith provided this comparison of savings for Lutherans.
During the pandemic, we were getting 3 heads of romaine in the bag for $17. And that really showed how importing greens in difficult times could really be challenging. And for us, if you come to our store, you can see that you can get a bag of baby mixed lettuce for $5 plus VAT. And it's very similar to the crystal lettuce, to the romaine.
Smith says the plan is to eventually share the savings by expanding to New Providence. The foundation is celebrating 13 years. Smith says the aim has been to have an impact on that community.
We've trained over 500 people on this island. We are in 30 food stores, restaurants, hotels. We've provided over $262,000 in scholarships over the last year. And then we have our Harvest Haven event that's coming up that's going to showcase all of that impact.
Reporting for our news and reminding you to put sustainability first, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was April 24th. Then in our news at 7:30, top officials clash over police driving ambulances, but Family Island administrators say it's nothing new. We'll tell you the impact on their communities. And for parents, how screen time may be linked to developmental delays in your toddlers. Find out what you need to know when our news returns.
Welcome to Journey TV.
I'm glad the Wally boys have split, because you know what? They ain't being no more competition.
The words on the Spelling Bee show in the lot.
Phosphorescent.
Hey, it's the Charlie Bahamas Show. Welcome, I'm your boy, Charlie Bahama.
New season of groovin' is here. New season of groovin' is here. It will have your emotions moving, grooving, and even sometimes scared. Get in the groove with 242 Groovin'.
I'm very excited, and I can't believe it. It's a dream come true. When she did call me yesterday about it, I didn't know what to believe. Thanks to Mr. Coleman and this whole staff for what they do and making sure the customer.
The wait is over. We're back with a new season of 242 The Gospel. Great artists, new videos exploding on the countdown. Will Najia be able to continue to turn the pages at number 1, or will someone else rewrite her story? Let's see on this season of 242 The Gospel.
The words on the Spelling Bee show in the lot.
Phosphorescent.
Bougainvillea.
Never. T.
Where was the T in here? You trust me?
No.
Good.
On this day in Bahamian history, in 1891, Emma Jane Poitier was born in Duncantown, Ragged Island. Poitier was a community activist and one of the leaders and supporters in the women's suffrage movement, and ardent supporter of the fledgling Progressive Liberal Party. The Historical Society notes many of the early PLP meetings in the Masons Addition area were held on her front porch. She is described as a fierce nationalist who supported every major event in Bahamian history, history that would eventually lead to its independence. Poitier died on September 16, 1983. And on April 24, 2013, then Minister of State for National Security Keith Bell accused the U.S. government of passing challenges onto the Bahamas by deporting ex-cons to the Bahamas after serving time. Bell claimed at the time that 1,000 hardened criminals were dumped by the U.S. in the Bahamas.
I vividly recall one individual who was deported from the United States. He served in the U.S. military and he was decorated with a Purple Heart, an expert in making bombs and the like, and we have these type of persons walking around in our society and committing crimes. Our big brother to the north would have issued a travel advisory, but the Bahamas do not produce firearms. We don't manufacture guns in this country, and a number of these persons who are deported, they're deported from their country here, and so they are basically just passing on the challenges or the problems to another jurisdiction, and unfortunately, we are the ones that have to clean up the mess.
And here's this great big country calling itself the greatest country on earth. They don't want to take nobody in, but they'll tell us to take them in. Do you all appreciate the fact that on our shores now, there are over 1,000 hardened criminals, murderers, that came here from the United States, from Canada, from Britain, that were just dumped here on our shores?
All right, that's going to do it for us in News at 7. Natalia Hall, she's up next. But before we toss to our News at 7:30, if you've been following us on Thursday, then of course you know that Thursday is the new Friday here at Our News. Joining us now, entertainment correspondent Danielle Miller. She's always looking to get a jump start on the weekend. Now, Denny, I'm wondering what's the latest and where are you now? I know it was Atlantis last week, but is this the Hilton, British?
Hey, Ken, I am at the Hilton. That's what we know it by, the Hilton, downtown. I haven't been in this hotel since Junkanoo. And the crazy thing about it is the fact that all of those thoughts are rushing back to me. And I'm like, gee, it's already May, which means we're getting closer and closer to summer, fall, winter, and Junkanoo. But one thing that I love about Junkanoo is the way that we are able to express ourselves with the colors and with the costumes. And in the story that I have coming up at 7:30 for our entertainment segment, we find out how sometimes all of those colors can cause a negative effect on our children. Well, guys and gals, you know the drill. If you want to know what I'll be doing this weekend, tune in to Thursday is the New Friday on our social media pages. And of course, we will be right back here on your TV screens next week for your weekly dose of entertainment news. Back to you in studio, guys. Deuces.
All right, thanks so much, Denny. So happy Denny's able to laugh at us.
Yeah.
That is so important in this line of work, eh?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, Ken. Well, happy Thursday, and stay tuned to Our News on Thursdays to see more of Danielle's escapades. But for now, here are your latest headlines.
First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30, in a fiery exchange, National Security Minister Wayne Munro defends the decision to train police officers as ambulance drivers, labeling former Minister Marvin Dames' comments as uninformed and petty. Also, as tensions rise between current and former National Security Ministers, Family Island administrators share their views on how this plan impacts their communities. Plus, in a long-standing case, prosecutors dismiss a murder charge against a man. We have details from the courtroom coming up, and later, a new report explores the potential effects of screen time on children's emotional growth. Tonight, our Danielle Miller speaks with a pediatric occupational therapist when Our News returns. Stay with us.
Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. INTI is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as INTI Corporation shines brighter than ever. INTI Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
I'm very excited, and I can't believe it. It's it's a dream come true. When she did call me yesterday about it, I didn't know what to believe. Thanks to Mr. Coleman and his whole staff for what they do, and making sure the customers are taken care of, making sure we enjoy the gaming they do give to us. Chances is the great house to play, even down to the staff, is perfect. You're going to marvel.
Farmer.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Atalia Hall. Uninformed, petty, bitter, and dripping with resentment is how National Security Minister Wayne Munro is describing his predecessor's criticism of the decision to train police officers to drive ambulances. Former Minister Marvin Dames told the Tribune newspaper the move could stretch their already thin law enforcement resources and raise serious safety concerns during emergencies. He called the plan short-sighted and questioned its long-term viability, saying officials have not been transparent about how long the arrangement will last or how it will affect policing on the ground. In a statement, Munro said if Mr. Dames had an ounce of respect for the office of commissioner, he would have picked up the phone before picking a fight. And while the current and former national security ministers remain at odds over Family Island police driving ambulances, how do Family Islanders feel about it? Two Family Island administrators are revealing how it impacts their local communities and the many officers that would have to step into their daily roles on the respective islands. Our Joshua Williams reports.
The decision to allow police officers to drive ambulances on the Family Islands has created quite a stir. A recent initiative launched by the Public Hospitals Authority in partnership with the Ministry of Health and the Royal Bahamas Police Force, selecting 17 officers to undergo emergency vehicle operations training with plans to deploy them where EMTs are unavailable. It's a short-term fix according to Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville, but for North Andros Administrator Beverly Larimore, the potential impact is lasting.
Police are already trained for emergency purposes, and when driving an ambulance, you need to be vigilant and you need to be trained properly.
For North Abaco Administrator Stephen Wilson, it's a good initiative once done the right way.
I think it'd always be best that we have community leaders, community persons involved in that exercise. They know that the police have a very hectic job to do, but it's always good that we can train our own to work in this particular area.
For years, our Family Islands, especially the smaller ones, struggle with resources when it comes to emergency response traffic-related injuries. Officers most times going beyond the call of duty.
Most Family Islands are remote and not all have specialized trained persons there, but they do always have a police officer. And so ensuring that all islands are represented, I think the police was a good way to go, because they are already there, and once trained, we would be ensuring that the medical services would be rendered properly.
The decision sparking criticism from former National Security Minister Marvin Dames, who told the Tribune earlier this week that police officers shouldn't be stretched too thin. His comments blasted by current National Security Minister Wayne Munro, describing Dames as uninformed, petty, and bitter. The second phase of that training currently underway. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Joshua. Prosecutors have dismissed a case against a man who was accused of a murder 4 years ago. The case against Anthony Elnius ended without a trial after prosecutors entered a nolle prosequi. Elnius was accused of the January 5th murder of the 20-year-old Carlisle Johnson. He was killed during a drive-by shooting in Montel Heights. Is screen time hurting your child's emotional development? Experts say it's definitely something to consider. In this next report, our Daniel Miller speaks with a pediatric occupational therapist to discuss a recent study.
Screen time linked to development delay in toddlerhood. This was the headline published by CNN in 2023. An article by Forbes in 2024 calling out a popular kids program with the headline, Why Kids Shows Like Cocomelon Hamper Critical Brain Development. And a magazine in India also weighing in with the headline, The Cocomelon Nightmare. We are all guilty of putting on a kids program to keep a child occupied, keeping a watchful eye for violence or inappropriate language. However, many of us unaware of the other dangers that innocently lurk in kid-friendly shows. Shanika McIntosh Cooper, a pediatric occupational therapist, explains.
Colors, music, and the lights. Lots of lights. So their attention span is just going from lights to colors. They're not focused and concentrating necessarily on what is happening. It's just the music, the colors, the sound, the lighting. And there's also been some research linked to poor attention span as well as problem solving, because when they're watching some of these educational shows, they're just watching it.
Cooper says children become spellbound by shows like Cocomelon. It is suggested that overconsumption of shows can not only impact the mental processes of a child, but also lead to emotional outbursts. But is the popular program the sole culprit for what's described as a child development nightmare?
There's a combination of things going on. I do believe we're not really spending our time really helping our children to regulate their emotions. A lot of our kids aren't able to really express themselves. They are feeling all of these emotions, but we're not taking the time and, for them to identify and then find other ways that may be appropriate in expressing themselves. So definitely communication is an issue. Definitely our kids may be very well overstimulated, and definitely regulation of those emotions are leading to some of the behavior. And there are some articles that actually link certain dyes in the food to our kids having or exhibiting some of these behaviors. So there may be a combination of different factors going on there relating behaviors.
The cocktail.
There's a cocktail.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
All right, thanks so much for that, Denny. Well, we're enjoying beautiful weather on this Friday, Junior. Discover what additional conditions lie ahead as we approach the weekend. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody, for a quick check on conditions around the islands and outside our studios. 77 degrees is our current temperature with a few clouds. Breezy conditions, east-northeast winds at 78 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is also 77. Sideline radar composite, high pressure is still in charge. Very breezy conditions as that pressure gradient is tightening. We do have some Atlantic moisture moving across us. Saw a couple of isolated showers here in the capital this morning. Likely to see a few more as continued moisture from the Atlantic streams across our area. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come in our news, Grand Bahama is poised for a comeback, but rebuilding downtown is key to its future success. We'll tell you all about it in tonight's City in Focus. Also, a new venture spearheaded by Blue Action aims to blend culture and conservation to create an underwater sculpture museum. And later, MSC's new conservation center focuses on coral restoration and marine life protection. We'll tell you how Bahamian intern Kyle Moss is involved when our news continues.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set up all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set up all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Setamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Welcome to Paradise Games, where exceptional service meets the ultimate gaming experience. Our dedicated team is here to make every visit a win.
Now this is paradise.
This is more than just a place to play.
Now this is paradise.
It's where excitement meets world-class service.
Now this is paradise.
Now this is paradise.
Come experience it for yourself. Now this is paradise.
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. Struckham. You can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Struckham, #1 in pest control services.
Diet-friendly special.
Candino Knowles here, and thank you.
The signs of a Grand Bahama revival are getting harder to ignore. A booming real estate market, renewed investor interest, and a major business expo at the end of the month, all pointing to momentum. But many say the key to truly reclaiming Freeport's former glory lies in rebuilding the heart of the city downtown. Our news anchor, Candino Knowles, tells us with the groundwork being laid, it just might be getting the fresh start what it's been waiting for.
Freeport isn't what it used to be. Ask any resident, and they'll tell you it's seen better days. But a new wave of investments across tourism and real estate and a new downtown Freeport Business Association board could help turn things around.
And so they have this unique opportunity to help bring some transformative impact to downtown, just reshaping downtown to be a thriving and a vibrant business community.
And the DFBA has done it before, hosting annual events and pushing for change. As for its new board, GBPA Chief Investment Officer Derek Newbold says its members are expected to take things even further. At the helm is longtime resident and businessman Ghassan Haddad, who's lived the highs and lows of the city for over 30 years.
Any city in the world, you call downtown, you go outside, you see people moving, people buying, people, we don't see it here. We see it more in Port Lucaya than downtown. We need to revive more downtown.
Haddad and his 14-member team now charged with making downtown a real destination for locals, while giving visitors a reason to explore more than the beaches.
We need to transform downtown to a place where we even have a nightlife, where there's something to do after 5 or 6 p.m. in the evenings.
And if the vision holds, with the hundreds of millions now flowing into the community, Newbold says the next 5 years could be transformative.
We'll have a downtown where there's diverse offerings. And we'll have a downtown where people enjoy going to connect, network, and simply enjoy the offerings that we have downtown.
We have 15 great people, enthusiast people. And I'm looking forward for the next year, next 2 years, whatever we bring, and hopefully it'll be a pleasant journey.
A journey Haddad, Newbold, and many others hope will lead downtown and the wider Freeport area back to the vibrant city it once was. Reporting for Our News, I'm Candino Knowles.
All right, thanks for that positive news. Thanks so much, Candino. Well, several organizations are teaming up to launch the Grand Bahama Underwater Ocean Sculpture Museum, set for the southern side of the island. It's a collaboration between the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Blue Action, Basra, Waterkeepers Bahamas, the Bonefish and Tarpon Trust, and the Bahamas National Trust. The goal to protect the country's marine resources while creating an experience that both locals and tourists can enjoy, showcasing Bahamian culture beneath the surface. 4 sculptures will be placed underwater. The artist behind the work is Andrea John, who will focus on Bahamian culture in each design. Officials say this will be the first underwater sculpture garden of its kind for the Bahamas National Trust and is expected to be unveiled mid-August. Rupert Hayward, chairman and founder of Blue Action.
We are really fortunate to have the UNEP that's provided us with the initial grant to Blue Action, $100,000, which has got the project on the way. We are talking to other strategic funders. At the moment, we're looking to raise a total of 215 or 50, I think, thousand to get the entire project done. And we're also looking at new models with Bahamas National Trust and Waterkeepers for spatial marine planning and ways in which actually we can create revenue streams to help monitor and preserve our national parks.
These partners say they're proud to play a role in a project that supports science, education, and marine protection.
This is very exciting for us. One of
during one of the initial scoping out of the area, we went and we dive out there. I see it as being very exciting. I think tourists will enjoy it as well as locals.
Peterson Key is one of 33 national parks throughout the country, and having an underwater sculpture garden within a national park like this has its benefits. We will be able to ensure that monitoring takes place, inclusive of reef health, marine biodiversity, and other initiatives like water quality testing.
MSC Cruises officially opened its brand new Marine Conservation Center on Ocean Key this month. It's a part of a global initiative to restore coral reefs and protect marine life. The facility, built by the MSC Foundation, is now a hub for cutting-edge research, education, and sustainability efforts. But what makes this story especially significant for us here at home is the presence of Kyle Moss, a proud Bahamian student from the University of Miami, who made history as the first Bahamian intern stationed at the center. Our news team traveled to Ocean Key and caught up with Kyle shortly after the center's grand opening.
Here we have 22 tanks that we use to study and observe the physiology of coral reefs. And in hope, our goal is to build more resilient corals that we would then transplant onto the reef. And our goal is hopefully they will reproduce more resilient corals within the region.
He says the experience is already having a personal impact on his life.
I was able to show other young Bahamians that this is an opportunity that's open for them if they are willing to do hard work. Now, also I grew up in the Bahamas, diving on different islands around the Bahamas, and over the last few years I've seen a big decline in coral reefs on a lot of the islands. So it's very important the work we do here if we want to preserve the coral reefs for futures, not only for ourselves, but for our families as well.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, young chefs had a blast during a special cooking event at the Atlantis Resort.
Coming up in sports, the champs touched down and an eager public was on hand to greet them at LPIA. Same goes for Grand Bahamians on the Carifta Athletics team.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
You or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
New season of groovin' is here. It will have your emotions moving, grooving, and even sometimes scared. Get in the groove with 242 Groovin'.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's Joe and Mark Nutt. Let's do show. With their 7th straight title and Carifta Challenge Trophy in tow, Team Bahamas returned to home soil last night. Sasha Lightbourne and the Our News team traveled with the champs and were there for the celebration.
Team Bahamas touched down just before 7 p.m. yesterday at the Lyndon Pindling International Airport after a grueling 4-day competition in Trinidad and Tobago. Team Bahamas won the meet with 979 points and 74 medals. On hand to greet the team was Prime Minister Philip Davis and Acting Minister of Sports Keith Bell, along with other senior government officials. During a short ceremony, the crowd of parents, supporters, swimmers, and airport staff heard from one of the team captains, Ayrton Monker.
This is a message to the rest of the Caribbean from the Bahamas is keep the stove on because we're still cooking. 7P, sounds sweet, but 8 straight, just wait.
Bahamas Aquatics Federation President Algernon Cargill once again encouraged corporate Bahamas to come on board to support young Bahamians.
It cost the Bahamas Aquatics Federation $200,000+ to travel to Trinidad and Tobago to represent our country. We're still a bit short.
The next Carifta Games are scheduled for Martinique. Reporting for Our Sports, presented by 10-year seniors, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
The Grand Bahama contingent of the Carifta track and field team received a hero's welcome of their own when they returned to the nation's second city.
It feels good. I'm happy. All the kids are happy. We did extremely well down there, so we feel really, really good right now.
Kiesra Thomas was one of the standout athletes from Grand Bahama and returned with 4 silver medals in the under-17 girls division: the 200 meter, 400 meter, the 4x100 meter relay, and the 4x400 meter relay. Shatalia Dorset won bronze in the under-20 girls 100 meters, silver as a member of the 4x100 meter relay team, and finished 200ths of a second off of the medal podium in the 200 meters. Joshua Williams won back-to-back Carifta medals in the high jump, this time with a silver in the under-20 division, while Aaliyah Evans won bronze after a grueling 2 days of competition in the heptathlon.
For javelin, it was very disappointing as well. And then 800, I just ran the best as I could. Keep up with her because I know that we only had a 200 points difference, and I just gave it my all in the last 200 meters down the stretch.
In local hoops, the Bahamas Basketball Federation has a busy weekend ahead to determine the best club teams in the country. The National Round Robin gets underway tonight and runs through April 26 at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. Division 1 will include the host Commonwealth Bank Giants, the Crusaders out of Abaco, and the Dudley Boys Saints from Grand Bahama. In Division 2, you have the YES Giants out of New Providence, Harbor Island Panthers out of Eleuthera, the Net Riders from Abaco, and North and Central Andros Defenders. It's Christian Robinson's second full season at the AA level with the Amarillo Sod Poodles, and thus far he's well on his way to another progression. Through 16 games, Robinson is hitting .246 with 3 home runs, 10 RBI, 2 stolen bases, and a .914 OPS. Robinson has been promising, but the Sod Poodles have struggled, beginning the season at 5-11 in the Texas League. That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. You know, when we came back, there was no Junkanoo, the PM wasn't waiting on us. Should we feel slighted?
No, we got the gold medal, getting home first.
And that's a race we'll always win. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on Our News tonight, young chefs had a blast during a special cooking event at the Atlantis Resort over the Easter holiday. We'll tell you all about it when Our News returns. Stay with us.
Season of groovin' is here. It will have your emotions moving, grooving, and even sometimes scared. Get in the groove with 242 Groovin'. Sleepy Lex has taken over the charts, but we got newcomers like Devondre and NF Trey climbing up to reach that #1 spot, while Travis Clark and Chase Fernandez is applying big pressure. Who will be #1 on upcoming shows of Rev Up, Buckle Your Seatbelt, and find out. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Are you ready?
The wait is over. We're back with a new season of 242 The Gospel. Great artists, new videos exploding on the countdown. Will Najia be able to continue to turn the pages at number 1, or will someone else rewrite her story? Let's see on this season of 242 The Gospel.
The words on the spelling bee show in the lad.
This is our news. Welcome back. High pressure is still in charge and is going to continue to dominate our weather over the next couple of days. Tight pressure gradient across our area as well, so we're looking at some breezy conditions. Boating and beaching will become a challenge, so we're asking you to exercise extreme caution out there. Also, we have some Atlantic moisture moving across us out of the Atlantic, and that's going to continue to produce a couple of isolated showers. We had 1 or 2 of them here earlier this morning in the capital. Likely to see a few more of those as the weekend continues. Storm systems to the north will stay well to the north. That high pressure system will stay in place, and we're likely to see some very sunny but windy conditions. Temperatures will be near the low 80s. Future forecast showing the moisture out of the Atlantic moving in our direction. That should mostly plague the central and southeast Bahamas, but a couple of those showers could be moving across the area, and that's likely to continue through Saturday with more of that Atlantic moisture moving across our area. Boating forecast, not good on the waters. Caution flag in the nearshore area. Advisory on the Atlantic. High rip current risk, northeast to east winds, 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet, but they will be higher along Atlantic exposures and some northeast to easterly swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we should enjoy some rather beautiful conditions, warm temperatures, breezy conditions taking us into the weekend. Weak frontal boundary will stay well to the north of us across Florida, but temperatures will start to warm up into the mid-80s by early next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, over the long Easter holiday weekend, there were tons of fun events for kids. One of them was hosted at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort's Kids Club Kitchen. That's where attendees got to whip up tasty treats. But before they put on their chef hats, they wore their inspector glasses as the cooking event had an exciting twist. Atlantis Kids Adventure chef Rashay Thompson says the event was jam-packed with fun.
We are having our Bunny's Secret Recipe. Now with the Bunny's Secret Recipe, it's a scavenger hunt. So the kids will come into the kitchen and we'll give them riddles and clues to solve. We placed eggs around the camp and they would solve the riddle. Inside each egg is a list of ingredients that they will then come up to find out what we're preparing at the end.
Hidden in the eggs were the ingredients milk, flour, sugar, vanilla, and baking powder. Thompson tells us why the team added this delightful element to the annual event.
Make it fun for them. We just don't want them to say, well, okay, we're going to be baking cupcakes. They actually have to think and solve the riddles to be like, what's going to be hot or cold, or look up or down underneath, make it fun for them.
All right, looks like a lot of fun. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.